Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Bowden Lanier.
Thank you, Mr. Lanier. Mr. Lanier, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegation, one count of burglary in the 3rd degree. That's a Class 4 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference September 19th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Preliminary hearing September 23rd, 8:31 a.m. Mr. Lanier, I am setting bond the amount of $2,500. That is a secured appearance bond, meaning you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $2,500 would be $250. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You must comply with pretrial services supervision and with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You are not to have any contact with any co-defendants, and you're not to possess any weapons. Mr. Lanier, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just, when was that court date again?
September 19th is your first court date, so 6 days from today.
All right, yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks.
sir. Carol Garcia and then Antonio Meraz will be on deck. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Carol Garcia.
All right, thank you, Ms. Garcia. Ms. Garcia, you are here on 2 Superior Court probation violation warrants, 4 alleged violations of terms 3 and 5. I have appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing scheduled September 20th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Ms. Garcia, this is your first probation violation, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And my last.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Ms. Garcia, yeah, I was going to affirm the bond, but I hadn't quite realized that. What I'm going to do then, Ms. Garcia, is I'm going to release you on your own recognizance in this case.
Thank you.
Do make sure, though, that you got to make sure to get in contact with your probation officer within 72 hours of release. If you don't know who your probation officer is, go down to the probation office.
Yes, that's
Okay.
what I did, and
Okay.
they
Well,
did account me one, but at that time I had a phone that was like off and on,
Okay.
and so but I got another one, so that's all
Okay,
fixed.
good. Well, yeah, so go down to the probation office if you need to. If you lose your phone for some reason,
Yes.
if something happens, because I get, bad things happen, go down to the probation office, talk to the probation officers there, explain the situation. It's always going to be so much better, okay?
Okay.
It always breaks my heart when someone says, well, I lost my phone. I'm sure that's horrible to lose your phone, but don't use that as an excuse not to miss staying in contact with your probation officer, okay?
I understand.
So, Ms. Garcia, you are going to leave in about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Again, standard conditions, plus no weapons, no alcohol, and make sure you contact your probation officer within 72 hours.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Garcia, do you have any questions for me?
No,
Okay,
John.
thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Antonio Meraz and then Anthony Nuttall will be on deck.
Good morning, Judge.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Antonio Meraz.
Thank you, Mr. Meraz. Mr. Meraz, you're here on a Superior Court failure to appear warrant, and I've appointed you an attorney. You have a hearing September 20th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Oh, just a moment, please, sir. I am affirming bond in the amount of $2,500. That is a secured appearance bond. It means you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $2,500 would be $250. So if you pay that bond, you will be released. You are then promising to go to court on all of your court dates, and you're promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release, plus you're not to possess any weapons. You must submit to DNA and fingerprinting at the arresting police department. Mr. Meraz, do you have something you wish to say?
Yeah. I was going to court for, this is my first probation violation, and I'm going to court. I contacted my probation officer to tell her that I was in a rehabilitation place. I was in a hospital for my mental health, and that's why I showed up to court. I called her like 4 days before, telling her that I needed her to contact the court and everything. She would not contact the court or anything for me to tell them that I was in that place. and that I probably wasn't gonna be able to make it, and that place, the hospital, was gonna try to take me there, but because they couldn't release me because I was in the hospital, I was in mental health hospital, so they couldn't take me or anything.
Okay.
And that's why I contacted her. I contacted everybody. I contacted her supervisor and everybody to let them know that. That's why I didn't show up to court. And even when I because I just got out of the hospital. When I got out of the hospital, I tried to contact my probation officer. And she told me that I can't contact her. That I have to fix things with you guys because I can't fix it with her. I even contacted my lawyer. My lawyer said that she wanted me to get all my paperwork from the courts for me to talk to her so she can reschedule. Because I was going to turn myself in, and I did. I called the cops for the cops to come pick me up at my house.
Okay, just a moment.
The cops picked me up at my house because I called them to come get me. Because I couldn't resolve it no other way, sir.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that that's why the police came, was because you called them.
Yeah, I called them because my brother got a little bit sick, and the cops were coming. They said they asked for an officer to come because the ambulance was coming, and asked for an officer to come so the officer can get me. It was out of Buckeye.
Okay.
Because I couldn't resolve it no other way, sir. And I don't know how to do it or anything. I stay away in Buckeye. So it's not like if I can jump on a bus and come over here and fix things and stuff like that. And I just I didn't know how else to fix it. Cause my PO didn't want me to talk to her no more. And stuff like I had all my paperwork due from the hospital. I had everything. Like I didn't miss just because I wanted to. You know? I did not miss because I wanted to. And I have proof of that. I have proof of everything to show that. That I was in the hospital for that. Because I take mental health medication and stuff like that. And I wasn't doing good, sir, and I didn't want to I just wanted to have a good mind, so that's why I turned myself into a place like that to get help. My case manager wanted me to go in there. That's what I did what was better for me. And that's it. As you see too, my courts, I was going to all my courts.
Well, yeah.
I was going to all my courts. The last court I just missed was because I was in the hospital. That's it.
Just a moment.
I just need another chance to go to the hospital. I need another chance so I can go to court and finish this off.
So it's looking to me, sir, so what happened was, there was a phone call on the 1st with your probation officer. Probation officer said you'd need to have your attorney file a motion to continue.
Yeah, and I called my attorney. My attorney said I have to get the case number and everything. So I called my probation officer and tried to get the case number. She did not want to give it to me. So I had to call on the phone and try to get my case numbers. And I couldn't get none of them because it was hard for me to get everything. So my attorney can reschedule my court or for whatever self-surrender, whatever, I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
But that's why my brother's pretty sick, so he told me to call ambulance for him. So I called the ambulance, and I asked for an officer to come so they can take me. Because I wanted to resolve this, because I couldn't. This is like my first violation in 2 years. This was my first violation, me going to court, and then I started going to violation court. But this was my first time, sir, for being in trouble. I wasn't even in trouble. It's because I didn't want to move from my mom's house. That's the only reason I violated it. So I didn't do nothing bad or nothing. I just, I've been doing real good on probation. I've been on probation 2 years now. This is my first time ever getting in trouble.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Mr. Morales, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch this to what's called an unsecured bond. An unsecured bond means you don't have to pay anything today. You will be released in 4 hours to 6 hours from now. As long as you go to court on September 20th, that's your court date,
I will.
That bond gets wiped out. $2,500, you don't have to pay a penny of it.
What do you mean?
I mean, if you go to court, you don't have to pay the bond. So you don't have to pay anything today.
So I have to pay a bond?
No, you don't have to pay a bond. Listen real carefully, okay? You don't have to pay a bond today. As long as you go to court, you don't have to pay a bond. But if you don't go to court, then you will owe that $2,500.
So does my family have to go pay it today?
No, you don't have to pay any bond.
Oh.
Okay? If you go to court, then the bond goes away and you never have to pay it. But if you do not go to court, then you will owe that bond.
So right now, I'm getting released in 4 hours by myself. I don't have to do nothing.
You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Okay, so does that
No,
make sense?
yeah, I don't
go to court.
I don't have a problem going to court, sir.
Let me explain it differently. The bond is only due if you don't go to court.
Okay.
You only have to pay it if you don't.
I'm not worried about that. I'm going to court.
All right, Mr. Morales, do you have any other questions?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you very much. So I'm being released?
Yes.
Thank you very
Yes, you
much.
are. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Anthony Marnutal, this
Mr. Nuttall. Sir, you're here on 2 Superior Court failure to appear warrants. You have a status conference September 19th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. And I am setting bond amount of $500 in both of these. Total bond is $1,000. It's a secured appearance bond. You can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $1,000 would be $100. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. And you're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Plus, you're not to possess any weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol. You also must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Mr. Nuttall, do you have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you, sir. James Porter and then Lesby Bernal will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
My name is James Porter. My birthday is...
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Mr. Porter, you're here on 2 Superior Court probation violation warrants for alleged violations of terms 3 and 5. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing September 20th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse.
Okay.
Mr. Porter, I am setting affirming the bonds in both of the warrants. It's $750 in one, $250 in the other. Total bond is $1,000. That's a secured appearance bond. You can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $1,000 would be $100. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release, plus you're not to possess any weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol. You must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Mr. Porter, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the night I got released was at 2:30. The train wasn't running. I haven't worked out in 6 months. I have diabetes, so my feet are painful. I was exhausted. I kept stopping at bus stops. I left my paperwork behind, and I miscalculated the date, the release date. I thought it was September 15th. And I didn't get back to work because I helped support my mom. She's been having trouble the past 7 months.
Just a moment.
I'm just kind of worried about her losing her apartment.
Yeah, so the issue, sir, is you have had your probation reinstated a few times now. Your whereabouts have been unknown since August 8th, and so I'm on the one hand somewhat sympathetic to losing your paperwork, but the simple solution then is just to contact your probation officer within 72 hours.
I didn't have the phone number.
Well, but then go down to the probation office. I mean, not having the phone number isn't really, it's just not a good excuse, Mr.
That
Porter.
didn't occur to me.
What's that?
That didn't occur to me. I thought the date was September 15th. That's why I didn't show up.
Okay. Well, I mean, again, you've had it reinstated before. It's really common. Whenever you get released, you have to have contact with your probation officer within 72 hours.
Oh,
So,
okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Porter. Good luck to you. Lesby Bernal and then Xavier Howard will be on deck.
I was curious if anybody was bringing that one.
Yeah. No,
I thought I mentioned it.
okay. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Just one moment, please, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Lesby or Sally Bernal.
Thank you, Ms. Bernal. Ms. Bernal, you're here on a Superior Court probation violation warrant. This is for alleged violations of terms 3, 5, and 15. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing September 20th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I'm affirming the bond. It is a cash-only bond, the amount of $750. So you have to pay that full amount in order to be released. If you pay the bond, then you will be released, and you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Plus, you're not to possess any weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol. You also must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Ms. Bernal, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you. Xavier.